Hello, I'm Rebecca and welcome to my YouTube channel Crafting with Rebecca. I'm so glad to have you join me here today to catch up on my cross-stitching adventures throughout the last couple of weeks. So as you may remember, I've been wearing a moon boot because I fractured my foot a few weeks ago, and I have unfortunately still wearing the boot. It hasn't healed as nicely as the doctors would like, so I still got the boot on. Hoping to have an x-ray and another checkup with the doctors next week, so hopefully we won't have the boot for much longer. So if you hear any Velcro noises, it's just my leg. So I've got my rather large cup of tea here with me today. I've been working some evening shifts and I really need to have a cup of tea, and I can't wait till after our video. So I've got one of my nice big cups. It's a lovely one with lots of bees and flowers on them. So we're not far off from spring in Australia, so it's time for my lovely cup. So I'll just have a quick swig. I've only slightly fogged my glasses. So for my first project this week, I've actually got a finish. It's called Me Crafty by Hands On Designs. I actually didn't have a lot to go, I don't think, from the last time I showed you. So here we are. So doesn't it look lovely? I'm really happy with how it turned out. I have done, I started it on the 9th of July and I finished it on the 2nd of August. Since my last video I've done 691 stitches and it was a grand total of 2,624. So as you can see, it's on a bigger piece of fabric, and Hands On Design have actually are doing a 3-part series of these crafting room designs, and the next one is called I Was Stitching. And I have to say, I really love that one. It says on it, I was stitching before stitching was cool. And I've definitely been stitching that long. So I thought that one was really appropriate. So, and there's a third one that's also coming in the series, but she hasn't released that yet. I can't wait to see what it is. But I thought I would stitch all 3 on this one piece of fabric. I don't think I'll keep them in the one. I think I will cut it up and frame them separately, but we'll see what happens. But I thought it would be nice if they were all on the same fabric. So for my next project, I'm rather excited about this one. I've finished the stitching, but I've got lots of beading to do now. My beading needle is in there, but it's so fine you can't see it. So here we go. Here we have Cranberry Row by Rosewood Manor. So as you can see, I've got all the stitching done. Just made it in at the bottom, but that's okay. It's a stocking, so it doesn't really matter. So I've done it on, I can't remember what count, but it'll be on my info panel, and it's opalescent, so it's sparkly, and you don't really get a gist of the sparkle from the video or even the photos, but it's just lovely. Just wait for the cars to go past. So I'll bring it in, and I've actually started the beading. I've beaded all across the top here where my name is, and down to, I'm in the midst of these trees here. So let's have a close look. I don't know if you can see it very well. I have to say, I've actually enjoyed beading it quite a lot. I've only dropped my little tray of beads twice. Once at Embroidery, where there wasn't a lot in the tray, and one time at home when I was on the couch, my entire roll of the monofilm thread that I'm using bounced into the tray and they all just went on the floor. So I spent about a good 5 minutes picking them out, and my husband happened to come along at that time and said, "What on earth are you doing?" And it was a bit like picking fly poop out of pepper. But, you know. But I did manage to rescue, I think, most of them, so that's the main thing. So I'm so happy with how this one is turning out. I can't wait to make it into a stocking. So for my next project, it's my Peppermint Purple 52-week sale. I'm so enjoying doing this one. So here we are. So what have we done? we've done the 2 little squares on this side here. So they just look so nice. I know I say it every time, and I just really love doing this. I just enjoy that it's something that I can do that's quick. Like, it probably, these days it seems like it takes me just around half an hour to stitch the squares. These ones are small. Some of the others have been a bit bigger. That took a little bit longer. And I just love the satisfaction of seeing the design gradually grow over each week. So I'm just so happy. So my last whip is the big one that I'm doing at the moment. It's called A Moment in Chalk by Hands On Designs, and I am doing it on a navy blue Aida. My info panel will have the details because I can't remember. So I've done a fair bit of stitching on this one. I've done 1,971 stitches, and they seem to have made a rather big difference. So I have to say, firstly, I do apologise. I haven't ironed anything. I couldn't be bothered getting the iron out again. I have to say, since I've started Flosstube, I've had my iron out more than I have in the last year. So I just didn't feel in the mood for it today. So I've pressed it with my hands as good as it'll get. So you'll live. So here we are. You can see I've actually got quite a bit done. Last time I had just this banner, and I think I just had some of the words there. So I think I have all the words done in the center panel now. And I started the border, and I have to say, I started from down the bottom and went up. I was so glad when I reached this bit up the top, and it had to be 1 square away from the flowers that are there, and I got it. I'm like, woohoo! So I was rather excited about that. I have made some other mistakes though. I have made a mistake in the A, which has put my flowers out a little bit, but it's not like that part leads to anything else, and I won't use that part for counting anything, as I know I've made a mistake. I will continue. I think there's some flowers to go here, and then that's the middle, and then I will do that border, but I will continue going that way so that I don't accidentally miscount the parts. But I have to say, it is looking really nice. I am using the Gentle Arts threads on this, and this is my first time I've actually used a specialty thread like that, and I have to say I am finding them fluffy. Like I've using, because they come on a floss drop, so I just cut it in half and went from there, but they just seem to like they fluff very, very quickly from your stitching. So if you've got any tips to how to stop it fluffing, that would be really great. So last time I was so excited, I actually forgot to tell you about the retreats that I'm going to this year. So I am actually I've only got one this year, and I've booked into one for next year. So I'm really excited about that. I've never been on a cross-stitch retreat before, so I have no idea what to expect. So if you've got any tips for me, please let me know. My first retreat is at the end of October, early November, and it's with the Cross Stitches of Brisbane, which is a Brisbane-based group that meets in a few different locations, and I try to go to the Springfield meetings when I can, depending on my shift work and stuff. So I'm rather excited to be going to this retreat. My mum is coming as well, and she's actually not a big cross stitcher, but I've got some projects which I will show in my haul that I think we can work on together. So I'm really excited about that one. The next one I'm attending is being run by Kim Does Things and Ro from Ro's Crafty Corner. They're organising a retreat in Toowoomba next year. Toowoomba's a couple of hours drive away from me, but that's fine. That's not too far. Certainly better than in another state. So, you know, I'm quite happy for it to be in Toowoomba. Toowoomba is a lovely area of Queensland, so it'll be nice to go up there. This one is in April, and from what I understand, there may still be some places left, so get in touch with Kim and Ro. You can contact them on Instagram. So it's Kim Does Things, and Rose Crafty Corner. So if you get in touch with them through that, and they'll be able to let you know more details. So I have a fair bit of haul to share with you today. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but here we go. So I subscribe to the Cotton and Twine subscription box, which is based in the UK. So it's always exciting when the parcel shows up. I never know when exactly they're going to come. So there's lots of goodies in the box. So first of all, there's a tea bag, because you always need to have tea when you do your stitching. They always put a sweet of some sort. So this one is a packet of sour watermelon candy kittens. So not so sure about that. Maybe my husband will like those. We'll have to have a taste testing. There's a little pencil case this time for, surprisingly, your bits and bobs. So I'm sure I will be able to find a use for that for my stitching projects. Then you also receive a pattern to stitch, and you get all the threads and the fabric and sometimes the finishing items. So this one is a cute design. Here we go. It's Busy as a Bee, My Needle and Me. So that's quite cute. I quite like the bee in the middle. And it comes with the fabric. I choose the Ada kit because I'm an Ada stitcher, and it's in a lovely sort of dark, I guess you call it oatmeal colour. And then you get all the threads, and I think there's a needle in the packet as well. And this time we actually get a lovely frame with it as well. So that's quite nice. It's always nice to get that, so then you can actually finish your project properly at the end. So speaking of retreats, I've got a couple of purchases that I have made for my retreats. I saw someone on Instagram who was, or maybe YouTube, I can't remember where, talking about their retreats, and obviously the lighting is not as good at a retreat as you might like it to be. So I thought I need to have a light I can use. And I saw somebody using this light, and it's a nail technician light, and look at that. So it has a USB plug-in, so you just need a power bank to turn it on. And I did test it out the other day at Springfield when I went to the Crossstitches of Brisbane, and it works pretty good. I don't tend to stitch like leaning forward, but certainly it's better than no light at all. So I'm looking forward to trying that out, and I did buy one for Mum as well, so hopefully she can work that out too. The next project that I got, and you'll have to excuse the rattling for a moment, I am a member of the Embroideries Guild of Queensland and the Southport branch, and they meet on a Monday, and I do try to go. I still work full time, so I have to squish it in between my work. At the moment my roster is rather nice, that out of 4 Mondays I actually have 3 off. It does mean I have other yucky shifts, but you know, we can manage. And one of the ladies had made this ornament that she had actually bought as a kit when she was in Canada, but it's a Dimensions kit. Oh, sorry, it's a Mill Hill kit. I was able to find it in Australia, so I bought one for me and one for Mum, because you know, we've got to do it together. So here's the kit, what it is, but look how lovely it is. It's got beads on it. So note to self, pack beading needles. But how lovely is it? And the one that Jan at Embroidery did was just beautiful. So hopefully Mum and I can do the same. So I had bought the lights from Temu. So just in case they were rubbish, you know, it didn't really matter then. But I had to bump my order up because, as you may know, well, for us in Australia, our minimum order has to be $50. So I've been eyeing these off for a little while, and I'm like, nah, I should get the Nerd hoops, but oh well. So I've bought 5 hoops, this packet of 5 hoops. So they kind of look like the Nerd hoop. I do have to say the fixture at the top's not as good quality, but I wasn't sure what size I wanted, so I've been stitching my Moment in Chalk in this big one, and it has actually been working okay. So that one is 280 millimeters. This one is 220. This one is 165, and I think this is quite a handy size as well. This is 110 millimeters, slightly less handy. And then we have our little wee baby one, and this one is 70 millimeters. I'm not quite sure what will fit on that, but having said that, I think the fabric from the Mill Hill kit might actually work in here, so we'll have to give that a try. But it is cute. We'll give it that. I think I'm sunbaking in the sun here today. It is lovely and sunny after a overcast day yesterday, so please excuse the lighting today. For my last purchase, I had an email, I think it was this week or maybe the week before, that was from Sew It All, which is a cross-stitch mail order company in Australia. And they had a sale on, or a clearance sale on, some of their fabric. So I don't really have a lot of specific fabric in my stash. I've got lots that I've come across or been given. Sometimes at Embroidery, when people are clearing out their stuff, they bring their fabric in and I bring it home, but I have no idea really what size it is or anything like that. So for these ones, I have got some specific projects in mind. So first of all, and I haven't taken these couple out of the packet, but I think you'll get the gist of what they are. So this is an easy count, 18 count Ada. So, and it was 50 centimeters by 55. I just thought it was a good price, and I just thought it was a good addition to my stash. I also got some 16 count white Ada. I think you know what white Ada looks like, and I think I may use this in one of the projects that I had shared last time. Then I got this carnation pink. It's an 18 count Ada. It looks quite nice. It doesn't really show the colour. It's more sort of peachy, I think, although it says carnation, but I think it's more of a peachy pink. And then my last one is, this one's actually a printed fabric, so the back of it is actually white. It's called Stone, and it has some mottling on it. Actually looks like more mottling on the camera than it does. And I'm actually thinking of using this for the pattern I showed you last week, which is Oh Holy Night, which has the music. I was looking for fabric that was kind of looking like parchment paper, and whilst this is probably not as dark as I would have liked, I think it will be fine. So I'm looking forward to starting that project, as that's a gift for a friend, and I probably need to get a wriggle on. So as you remember, I've been sharing some of my older projects that I have completed over the years. So I was looking around the house trying to decide which ones I would share, and I realised I have quite a few Paula Vaughan patterns that I have stitched over the years. And Paula Vaughan, well, the birds are very noisy today. Paula Vaughan has done a lot, probably predominantly in the 80s and 90s, I think, where they were designs with quilts in them. And because I like quilts as well, I was rather drawn to these patterns. And so I've actually done quite a few of them, 5 to be precise. So let me share them with you. Now, I don't remember which order I did them in. I haven't put on the year I completed them. I have done that most of, like, I've got quite a few with dates on them, but obviously I didn't start off doing that. So, and a couple of them, I think the picture framer actually covered this where I wrote the date, so that's not very helpful, is it? So for my first one, it's called A Cameo of the Past, well, according to Google, so, because I can't find the pattern, so let me show you this one. So, try not to get the glare. Isn't it lovely? Now I do have to say there's some staining on it, so obviously didn't wash it as well, but I did do this over 30 years ago, so I guess age as well. So, but isn't it nice? And I do like it with the oval. I hadn't had this one up for some time, but I just rediscovered it in the cupboard, and I decided I've actually hung this one in my wardrobe. I feel that's appropriate, don't you? So the next one is called Aunt Verdi's Porch. So that looks rather nice. One of the things with these patterns is there is a lot of backstitch, but it does make it look lovely. So how nice is that one? Then next up, this one is called Yesterday's Dream. I do love the quilts on these, they are just so nice. Oh, that is lovely. Still no date. This one I couldn't actually quite confirm the name of it, so it's a slightly bigger one, so here we go. It might be Quilts for All Seasons, but I'm not sure. I will try and find it in my older patterns, and I'll put the name down the bottom if I can find it. But I do love this one, and there's a pussycat on there. Slightly wrong colour for mine, but you know, we'll forgive them. Again, tons and tons of backstitch. Maybe that's why I like doing the peppermint purple one, because I've done so much. But I can't say that this type of backstitch is my favourite. Mind the birds. And this last one is the biggest one that I've done so far, and this one is called Summer Breeze. So quite large, got quite a fancy frame on this one. Can you see the frame? So I do so love the quilts. I do think it's a lovely addition. So I'm quite happy. So I do actually have a couple of Paula Vaughan books. So maybe one day in the future, if I live to be 150, I might get some more of them done. So we'll see what happens there. So for my plans coming up for the next couple of weeks, I'm planning to work a bit on the stocking to try and get that finished. I don't know if I'll sew it together, but I do have a period in my upcoming roster where I get 5 days off, so hopefully I can get some stitching done in that time, or sewing done even too. So we'll see how we go with that. Actually, that's a good goal to aim for, isn't it? So I should try and get that beading done by then. But that's about 3 weeks away, so we'll see how we go with that. I do have a couple of new starts I want to do. I need to start the Oh Holy Night, as that is a gift for Christmas, and I do want to get it framed, so we'll see how that goes. So we'll get that started. I also have another secret stitch that I would like to start, and I'm going to see if it will work on the pink. If not, it'll be on the piece of white that I just bought, and we'll go from there. And I do have another one that I might start. When my friend and I went to Alaska last year, she had a couple of the photos that we took over there transformed into a cross stitch. So it came as a kit that has all the fabric, and the design wasn't printed on the fabric, but it was gridded. The fabric's not the nicest feeling, so I'm not sure if I'll stitch it on that or not. It does have the grid on it, so that's a bonus. And I was actually able to email the company she got it through and get the pattern in PDF format, which I've been able to put into markup. So it's not perfect, but it's certainly better than what it was, and at least I can enlarge it, which is what I love the most about markup. So I might start one of those. She gave me one for Christmas and one for my birthday, so I just have to pick one and make a start. So we might start one of those as well. It's a full coverage design. One is of a glacier, and the other one is at the Boucher Gardens on Vancouver Island. Yes, I think that's the place. So it was such a beautiful place. We took so many photos. We do love a good flower, and there were many good flowers there. So would certainly recommend that as a place to visit if you ever get to go over there. The sunken garden was amazing, and I think that's what the picture is for the cross stitch, so that will be a lovely one to stitch. So that's all for this fortnight, and I just want to say thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed what I shared today, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Happy stitching!